Alicia here from Vegerasta.com, and today we are going to prepare delicious dinner, loaded baked sweet potatoes. For this recipe we are going to use chickpeas as the roasted chickpeas as the filling, with raw tahini sauce, along with some greens and tomatoes, and it's going to be really delicious. So recipe is very simple to prepare, and it takes around 40 minutes assembling it all and then bake, and it's relatively hassle-free as well. So first of all, we need to prepare our potatoes for baking. So I've got two medium potatoes. I'm going to cut them in half, and depending on the size of the potatoes, the smaller they are, the better. So this size is relatively good, because otherwise they will take ages to bake. So we have the potatoes here, and I'm not going to use any spices because they are sweet in themselves, and they have that delicious, very creamy sweet flavor. So just to improve the baking process, I'm going to spread the middle part, the cut part, with olive oil, and I will place them on the baking tray on the baking paper. And this one is ready. This dish is very versatile. So as a topping, you can use different greens, as well as things like avocado, different sauces, guacamole. So you can have different versions. You can have use Indian spices to create that Indian kind of flavor, or you can simply use some Mexican spices, and it will change the dish completely. So now they will go into the oven for around 30 minutes, and we're going to check them around 15 minutes mark with the fork to see if they are soft enough. Right, so the potatoes are now baking, so we're going to prepare the roasted chickpea, and I'm going to use a few different spices to enhance the flavor. So I mixed half a teaspoon of each spice. So we've got half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, as well as cumin, as well as the coriander, as well as the sumac. So we are going to use them during the roasting. I'm also going to use a little bit of salt. And the best is sea salt of the Himalayan salt. I'm going also to use 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice, as well as half a teaspoon of olive oil. And the oils and the lemon and the spices, we're going to mix it with our chickpeas. And for this recipe I'm using the entire tin of chickpeas, and it's enough for those 2 portions of the baked sweet potatoes. Okay, just to ensure that you know the marinade covered them thoroughly, and then we will move them into another baking tray on the baking paper, and they need to roast in the oven for around 15 minutes. So I'm going to put them halfway the sweet potatoes baking time, and they should be all ready along with our potatoes. Okay, so the last thing that we need to prepare is our raw tahini sauce that we're going to cover our baked potatoes with. And again, the ingredients are very straightforward, so I'm going to use a simple blender just to mix all the ingredients together. And we need half a cup of tahini, also known as the sesame butter, 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 3 garlic cloves, and also 1 teaspoon of oregano. You can also experiment with the spices and use whatever you feel that you will like. And we need just a little bit of water, so I'm just going to add a tiny splash here first, and if we need more we will add more. However, it's going to be kind of like the very thick sauce, so we will try the consistency in the meantime. I think it's a bit too thick, so I'm just going to check. Yes, it's a bit too thick because it covered the walls of the blender. So I'm going to add another splash of water along with some sea salt. And we're gonna blend it once again. Okay, and another try. It's still a bit too thick, so tiny bit of water once again and it should be fine. Right. Yeah, it looks good right now, so I'm going to move it into the bowl and scrape the walls first. But that's the consistency that you should be aiming for. So it's creamy, but not too runny, because we don't want it to be kind of like the runny sauce. It should have that kind of like the thickness and creaminess. And later, of course, it's difficult to actually create this recipe for the small quantities, but it keeps well in the fridge, so you can store it in the fridge for definitely around even as long as 2 weeks, providing that you store it in the closed jar. And it's delicious to use also with the salad as the salad dressing. So here it is, and it's very delicious. And now we are waiting for the potatoes, and our baked potatoes are now ready, and I got them out of the oven. I decided to keep them a bit longer because some of them they were still a little bit too hard, and I prepared them to kind of have that mushy consistency. The roasted chickpeas are also ready, and as the filling we're going to use, of course, the chickpeas that we prepared, some greens, plum tomatoes, our tahini sauce, as well as pistachios and basil. So we're going to put them on the potatoes on the plate first. I'm going to get them from the baking tray. Just look at that color. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And the other one here. So right now we're gonna spread them with pistachio, with the basil sauce. And as the next, we will put the greens on, and you can use baby spinach, watercress, whatever you really fancy. And here I have the some radish leaves, so I'm going to put them on top. It's amazing dish where you can that you can really load with your favorite ingredients. And I love greens, I love fresh vegetables, so I'm going to be very generous with them. Right, and on top we're going to add the roasted chickpea. It's also amazing dish for parties. If you want to impress your friends and show them that vegans don't only eat grass or lettuce or greens. So I'm adding the baby tomatoes on top. And now we are going to use our tahini sauce on top. Again, you can be very generous with that and use as much as you like. A little bit more tomatoes on top. As well as some pistachios. And the final accent with some beautiful colors on top. And it's ready.